Hello everyone, so in this video I want to talk about what happens when you hit your number. So there's an old phrase that says everyone has a number. It's a number at which you might retire, or you might sell a business or an investment, or perhaps a number that you associate with success or freedom or achieving your long-term goals. So what happens when you hit this number? So to borrow from another old saying, sometimes it can be better to travel than to arrive. Now, I've seen this a few times before. Clients are really motivated and driven to achieve whatever it is they set out to do. But once all is said and done, and you've hit that sort of magic milestone figure, there can sometimes be a little bit of an anticlimax. So what now kind of thoughts? So I'm delighted to share some thoughts from my experience helping clients with this, should you find yourself in, let's be honest, this rather fortunate, but sometimes a bit perplexing situation. So first of all, don't just think about your generation. So if this situation that I'm describing applies to you, you might find yourself in a position where you can really think about how the wealth you've accrued in your lifetime can outlive you. So what about future generations? Could your wealth provide for others, some of whom might not even be born yet? Grandkids, great-grandkids, something like that. Can you carve out some of your wealth for your own needs? So that's fine, you put some to the side, but then you put the rest towards the benefit of future children, family members, or even others not connected to you in bloodline. So secondly is giving back. Sometimes a business exit, or what we call a liquidity event, can give us the chance to pause and just reflect and think about how far we've come. So part of that can often involve thinking about the people or organisations or places or even charities that have helped us along the way, often when we were quite early on that journey or when the odds weren't necessarily in your favour. So do you now have the financial means to give something back to those and to hopefully help others have a similar help that you had? So next is wealth preservation versus growth. So there's a really big difference between growing wealth and preserving it, as I mentioned in previous videos. So the two have really different mindsets and they look to achieve different things. Now, if you've only invested for growth so far, is it time to think about how you preserve your wealth instead? So for example, if you're an all-out growth investor and that's all you know, you might only have those kind of shares in your portfolio. And that's great. But if you're now thinking that it's more about preservation than it is growth, i.e. you can't necessarily afford to lose this money like you could before, is that the right approach? Some other asset classes such as bonds or property might seem a bit dull, but actually do they serve a purpose for you as your needs change? So next up is the importance of keeping yourself busy. So in hitting your number, you've probably taken years to build your knowledge and to build your business to get to where you are now. Now the financial reward from that can be really great, but don't underestimate the human capital that you would have accrued in that time as well. So your experience and your connections can be really valuable, not just in financial terms, but also in their potential impact to help other companies or people that you could really lend that to. Have you thought about becoming a non-exec director, perhaps, of a growing business, or a mentor to someone trying to push ahead in a difficult field, or even buying a stake in a business that you think can actually be taken to the next level with your help? And then finally is creating an income from capital. So this is particularly the case when selling a business, but not always. Is this sudden lack of a salary can be quite disconcerting. So we tend to view money in two forms, income or capital. So when you owned the business or the asset that you sold, you had an income or a salary, and you had an unrealised capital sum, which was the value of the business or the asset. Now that's been sold, you've got no income, but you've got a lot of capital. So you might find yourself saying, is it right to spend that capital on your daily expenses? How much do you take? How often? So it's really worth thinking at this juncture about, firstly, how much income you need versus how much you might like. Next, can your capital generate that income for you in the form of dividends or other income? Or are you going to be drawing down on capital? And is there a sustainable rate that you can take? Now, this isn't an exact science because markets and opportunities change, but more importantly, your own needs will change too. So talking at some length about this with your advisors should give you peace of mind and at least a starting point of a plan to last multiple years. So I really hope that the points in this video are of assistance, and if you find yourself in what is quite an enviable position, hopefully they're helpful. And finally, well done on hitting your long-awaited number. There's a lot of effort that goes into that. So as always, if you found this video helpful, please do like, comment and share. Thank you.